FNAF Security Breach's Ruined DLC may have just gotten a massive character reveal or possibly even a brand new game reveal entirely. And the thoughts on this announcement have been really mixed. So to give some context, all the way back in October, some leaks came out about some new merch being made for the Funko brand, who makes pops and other action figures for Five Nights at Freddy's. And now these leaks happen all the time with the brand, so it wasn't too surprising to see this. However, what's really weird is that in the database and leaks, suddenly a few new figures popped up that were labeled as for Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. And more specifically, there was a collection for Balloon Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, Circus Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, and then Clown Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. Now, if it wasn't already obvious, none of these characters ever show up inside a Security Breach. Foxy and Bonnie aren't even in the game in any iteration at all, so it was really surprising when these leaks first came out. And now, fast forward to just yesterday, we finally got a big reveal showing off a bunch of these toys, which was incredibly weird and confusing to say the least. Because Funko revealed to us that these, quote, Security Breach toys were a new wave of characters called the Five Nights at Freddy's Balloon Circus Collection. And a few things different stand out about these toys. They are very unique looking characters, and as far as I know, none of them have ever showed up inside of any FNAF game, let alone Security Breach. And also, speaking of Security Breach, what in the world happened to the Security Breach branding on these toys? They entirely removed them. All of the labeling of these being Security Breach toys was entirely removed, and if we look at the boxes, they simply just used the standard Five Nights at Freddy's logo and box branding, which is a far cry from normal Security Breach Funkos that usually look more like this. And what's even weirder is that some third-party websites like GameStop actually still have the toys listed as Security Breach toys. So this decision to entirely change the branding must have been very, very last minute. So what exactly happened to the Security Breach branding, and what in the world are these toys for if not for Security Breach? Well, there's a few separate theories that I want to talk about. Firstly, there's the Funko exclusive theory, which suggests that these character designs are Funko exclusives of some sorts created just for this one collection and don't have any real importance to the games at all. Because if you didn't know, Funko often releases cool recolorations and redesigns to FNAF characters as Funko originals, and so this theory simply suggests that these toys are some sort of original Funko creation that has nothing to do with FNAF and its games. They were just made for fun. The only problem with this theory is that, for one, this doesn't explain why they were originally labeled as Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach toys at all, and two, other pieces of merch were found that includes the same Balloon Circus Freddy thing we've been seeing before, and that's not a Funko product, so whoever this character is, they cannot just be a one-off thing for Funko. They have some sort of purpose in FNAF that we're not exactly sure about yet. Also, as Johnny Blocks would point out, these characters have a very noticeable amount of detail, which feels like too much effort for some random one-off series. So I highly doubt this theory is true, and I think that these new characters are for something else, but this then brings me to the second theory, the brand new game theory. Yep, there are people theorizing that this new character reveal is actually for a brand new Five Nights at Freddy's game, and there's actually more to back this up than you'd probably think. So first off, when going to Funko's site, we could see that all of the characters have been fully rebranded from Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach to Five Nights at Freddy's Balloon Circus. And this new change in design and branding, like we already confirmed, is not a Funko exclusive of any sort. So people are theorizing that this could be an early look at a new Five Nights at Freddy's spin-off game of some sorts called Five Nights at Freddy's Balloon Circus. And to add more validity into this theory, if you look at the description of some of these Funko toys, they read like this: collect your favorite characters from Five Nights at Freddy's Balloon Circus with this assortment of new figures featuring the game's frighteningly cute animatronics. And the two main things you need to pay attention to in that description is, first, the fact that they italicized the words Five Nights at Freddy's Balloon Circus, suggesting it is the title of something, and secondly, the fact that they say the game's frighteningly cute animatronics. It's a really weird and specific touch to add if it were for no reason, and in my opinion, these things actually line up pretty well, and it sounds like a brand new Five Nights at Freddy's game may actually be in the works. The only main problem with this theory is, for one, it doesn't explain why these were originally called FNAF Security Breach toys at all, which we'll talk about in a moment, and also it feels a bit weird for Funko to reveal toys before the game itself was actually announced, because this would be a really weird way to find out about an entirely new game, but I'm just not exactly sure. If it was a new game though, as I'll talk about in a second, just looking at the aesthetic and the title of the game, I'd imagine this will be a FNAF Plus-esque game, just judging by the friendly nature of the characters, because assuming this isn't another case of Garden of Bonbon, I doubt they'd use these smiling, happy animatronics for a main series game, assuming this theory is actually true. know. But moving into the final theory and the main one for this video, the Five Nights at Freddy's Ruined DLC theory. This theory basically suggests that this character collection has to be for Security Breach in at least some way, because as of right now, we still don't know for sure why they changed the collection from Security Breach to Balloon Circus. However, I have a theory as for why. What if these characters in some way are somehow meant to tease FNAF Security Breach and its contents for the upcoming DLC? However, they last second decided to change the branding in order to leave this ambiguous and not leak the DLC contents early. It's a bold claim to make, but assuming it's true, then what are these characters for? Well, we saw with the original Security Breach that the developers made an entire animated series to tease the game coming up, and Sky even produced a game of his own using the Security Breach characters to hype it up even more. So I'm really beginning to wonder if, similar to these couple of products, maybe this new game or whatever it is some sort of spin-off to buy the devs some time while they work on the Ruined DLC to perfect it, while still giving us some content to hold us back while we wait. It would explain why the collection was based around Security Breach but then was randomly switched up to this new collection, and it would also explain why the characters look cute and adorable versus the more sinister atmosphere the devs go for in their main franchise titles. It's because, in theory, these products could be for another Freddy and Friends on Tour or FNAF World-esque project that aims to twist the characters in a more family-friendly and fun way, which, while that may not definitely please the OG fan base, it does seem rather plausible. In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder if maybe whatever these characters were supposed to be was already supposed to be announced by now in some way. Like, maybe Steelwool was supposed to announce what these characters were for a long time ago and what they would mean for the Security Breach DLC, but they had to delay what they were working on for some reason, so in panic, they changed all the branding so that way nobody knew what they were actually doing behind the scenes. I don't know. I've seen some other minor evidence to back this theory up, like the box coloration number being purple, possibly to reference the Aftons in the Ruined DLC cover, but this is definitely a massive stretch, so I'll leave that there. The only real problem with this theory mainly is just that it contradicts a lot of the evidence from the other theories. However, anyway, now looking at all three of these theories, I think it's safe to say the first theory just can't be true and we can rule it out of the equation entirely. I highly doubt all this effort would be put into these characters for one singular Funko collection, and we even saw the characters in other pieces of clothing, so it's practically debunked entirely. And rather, I think these toys have to be for something specific, leaving us to the last two theories, suggesting that these characters are either for a new separate Five Nights at Freddy's title or something for the Ruined DLC. And while you could sort of discuss which of these you believe in the comments below, which you should like while you're down there, I still have one big question about both of these theories. Why would Funko announce these toys before anything from the developers' sides was announced? Was it because the toys got leaked and they panicked to change things up to not accidentally reveal the characters of Ruined DLC like what happened in the past with Security Breach? I'm not exactly sure, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Check this video out, subscribe, and peace.